Aggies ready to rock inside D. Glenn Smith Spectrum as they play host to San Diego State. First meeting of the season between these Mountain West rivals. It's College Hoops on FS1 from Logan, Utah. With Casey Jacobson, I'm JB Long. And take a look at our starting lineups. For Brian Dutcher, it is Matt Bradley, Trey Pulliam, Lamont Butler, Keyshawn Johnson, and Nathan Mensah. Those five, part of what makes San Diego State an elite defensive program. And it's Bairstow, Ashworth, Idle Rock, Horvath, and Justin Bean for Ryan Odom and Utah State. Casey, they're hoping to shoot it better here on their home floor from behind the arc against a really good defensive group.
This is a much better shooting team than their stats suggest. And Brian Dutcher, we know about him, and defensively, he's going to try and bottle up this Aggie attack.
And first-year head coach for the Aggies, Ryan Odom, who follows Craig Smith here in Logan. College basketball fans will remember the 2018 upset, 16-1 in that NCAA tournament to UMBC over Virginia that he and his group authored. All right, so here's the matchup. Most points allowed, San Diego State, 72. Fewest points in a win for Utah State, 73. It's one of those something has to give for both of these programs to get the result they want.
Yeah, the question is whether or not Utah State can score enough. They have the home court advantage, right? The Spectrum is rocking, but good luck against this Aztec defense. If you like defense, keep an eye on Nate Mensah, number 31 in black. Leads the Mountain West in blocked shots. He patrols the paint, but he can also switch on pick and rolls and keep little guards in front of him. It's really impressive.
A nice find early. Brandon Horvath gets the first hoop.
The Aggies love the high-low action. I mentioned at the open that the strength of this team offensively is in their front court. Justin Bean and Brandon Horvath, they can both shoot threes as well.
He's got a better off-one-foot game in college basketball than Trey Pulliam.
He does have a really nice runner.
Stephen Ashworth gets a clean look at three, and it's a 5-0 start for the Aggies.
Somebody in the backcourt has got to step up, right? They don't have Brock Miller. They don't have Rylan Jones, two guys who would be starters if they were healthy. Is it Stephen Ashworth who can light it up from deep?
I like the plan from Ryan Odom's group. Take the early offense before this elite defense gets settled into the half court. Driving kick for Keyshawn Johnson, who turns down the corner three. Single digits on the timer. Matt Bradley throws it down low. Oh, it's not just defense for Nathan Mensah.
You see, he was kind of hiding out in that short corner is what they call it, that hash mark underneath the baseline there.
Bean turns the corner and puts the first foul on the 6'10 senior.
And watch Horvath, who is guarding Nate Mensah, and he is trying to shade towards Matt Bradley and not let him get to the bucket. And he got beat that time. He helped up too far and let Mensah get behind him.
A kick on the baseline inbound from Stephen Ashworth. He went 40 minutes against Marcus Shaver and Boise most recently. Playing big minutes, as Casey said, without Rylan Jones, the starting point guard.
Is it strange that Mensah is guarding Ashworth in the corner? That's the center on the point guard.
Switching everything to a new level as Ashworth couldn't connect on his second attempt of the night. And a rebounding foul goes against Sean Bairstow.
They're still complaining about that, but it looked like he raked Mensah right across the arm.
Bairstow's overcome 8 missed games with wrist and finger injuries, has been playing well of late, and they've needed him, with Brock Miller having missed 6 of the last 7 now. Bradley coming off a season high, throws it down to Mensah. We're seeing 2 Aggie defenders. Nice poise on ball. Lamont Butler with 10 to shoot. Hurling into the lane. Butler gets it to go.
Butler is just a sophomore. He's one of only 2 Aztecs who are averaging double figures. Obviously, the first one is Matt Bradley leading them, but Butler is the future of this program.
Horvath knocks down the three. He's just shy of 40% on the season. But a lot of that damage, Casey, was done before Mountain West play.
Yeah, he's 3 for 18 from deep in his last 7 games, but might be one of the best shooters from the center position in the Mountain West. It's either him or Will Baker, the 7-footer for the Nevada Wolfpack.
Pulliam with the numbers advantage here. Good fine middle, and free throws coming for Johnson.
And look at Stephen Ashworth, number 3 in gray. He's holding that right shoulder.
We'll follow up on him, Casey. First, let's take a look at our team goals, sponsored by Edwards Jones. Life is for living. Let's partner for all of it.
Yeah, San Diego State, they got to control the glass. This is an incredible stat. The Aztecs have won 28 straight games when they out-rebound their opponent. That streak spans over the last 2 years. And then Utah State, they got to get some backcourt scoring. I already mentioned it. Justin Bean and Brandon Horvath are the main threats down low and from the perimeter. But the Aggies, they got to have a guard step up to keep pace with Matt Bradley and company scoring on the other end.
There's your Edward Jones team goals for the first meeting of the season between Utah State and San Diego State. We have seen these programs clash in the final of the conference tournament 3 years running. Different personnel, same great rivalry. R.J. Idlerock with a hard take and brings another whistle.
JB, you mentioned it. This is as aggressive an offense as I've seen Utah State, especially in the last couple of weeks. They are not interested in playing a grind-out half-court game with this San Diego State Aztec defense. They're trying to push it, and it's worked so far.
Can't find a shot off the baseline out of bounds play. Won't have a hard time finding Ashworth tonight, will we? Those shoes stand out.
The highlighter green, Kobe Bryant's. Nice.
Trey Pulliam comes away with this steal. These are 2 of the best defensive teams in the league when it comes to steal generation. And a down low hoop for Johnson. Keyshawn Johnson made every start this season after 42 games off the bench in his Aztecs career.
Keyshawn Johnson shoots almost 80% at the rim. Not a good three-point shooter, but he's aware of it.
And they want Justin Bean to let it go a little bit more from distance like that.
They want him to be way more aggressive. He's shooting 50% from 3, 22 for 44 coming into the game. They want him to shoot more.
Pulling him out of the corner, gets 2 feet in the lane. Using that pivot foot, offensive foul.
Offensive foul on Trey Pulliam. His first, 3rd team foul.
That's the idea, to get 2 feet in the lane and play on balance. And a little bit of an exaggeration there from Idlerock on defense, but it sold the ref.
Number 32,
So first on Pulliam. 3rd team foul on San Diego State. We're not yet at our first media stoppage.
The best man-to-man defensive teams that I've seen in the country this year are the Baylor Bears, the Texas Tech Red Raiders, and this San Diego State Aztec. Here's another example of them. JB, they draw a line in the sand and they say, I dare you to score on me man-to-man. So far, Utah State has had some success, but Nate Mensah, you get 2 feet in the plane like this, he's going to throw it down. On the other end, though, the bigs can step out and shoot. That's what makes this Utah State team really dangerous and unique.
Good little stretch of home games for Utah State as they look to get their Mountain West schedule on track, playing host to one of the best in the league, San Diego State tonight. Casey Jacobson, JB along with you from Logan, Utah. And I think one of the elements that makes these programs so successful, their student sections, the contributions they get on their home court.
It's what makes college basketball unique and different from the NBA, right? And no one likes us, and we don't care. I love that moniker for the show. Be seen, be loud, and be heard. Absolutely, man. The Mountain West has got some tough venues to travel to. It's not just these 2 programs. Colorado State the other night had over 3,000 in their student section alone.
Clean look for Adam Seiko off the Aztecs bench. This is their third game in 5 nights after just 3 in the prior 35 days. Like so many college basketball teams, had a COVID protocol shut down. Trevin will get to the foul line. And of course, on the back end, they're playing at altitude here in Logan. And so, as reported by Mark Ziegler with the Union Tribune, the Aztecs were tapping into some beetroot juice to deliver oxygen to their muscles at altitude. What are your feelings on beets and beetroot juice?
Giant thumbs down on beet juice. If that's what it takes to play well, though, I'll do it. I'll do anything to get a win on the road. But, man, I'm not going to like it. I'm going to plug my nose and down the hatch.
Well, another of the ingredients for the San Diego State program is they have been true road warriors. You take since March of 19, so the last couple of years sample size, they have the 3rd highest winning percentage nationally away from their home floor. Only the Zags and Baylor better. I mean, you're talking about national championship programs and one of the best programs in the West here.
This program's been awesome for more than a couple decades. Remember, the Mountain West was just started in 1999, and they've been the class of the conference.
Well, Seiko can heat up. He's a 3-and-D specialist. Made 10 straight from distance during a stretch in December.
But in their 4 conference games, he was just 1 of 7 from 3. So it feels like, you know, he needed one to go through, but this is his specialty on defense.
Good ball movement, and Bean gets another bucket.
So the best thing that Utah State does offensively is move the basketball. They're one of the highest assist rates in all of the country, and they are excellent cutting, diagonal cuts, baseline cuts, you name it.
We're told that Bean's coming off a non-COVID illness that impacted his practice status the last couple of days, Casey. Pretty good juice to his game so far.
He didn't practice on Monday, but man, this guy's been around the conference for 4 years now. He knows exactly what he's doing.
Midway point of the shot clock, he gets the set from the sideline. Turns it over to R.J. Idlerock. Now looking for the roller, and Trevin Dorius never saw it.
That pump fake was so good that it fooled his teammate.
Extra pass, Seiko. 1 and done for the Aztecs, and Bean gets to the glass.
Look at Justin Bean just fly around. He's the leading rebounder in the conference for a reason. He goes after him.
Hamoda off the mark with his first attempts. Dorius fighting for a second chance, and it's a tie-up. The arrow favors San Diego State.
That's Diabate, number 22 in black. He's got to put a body and then move out. That's the second part, right? If you just put a body and stand, Dorius is taller, longer. He's just going to reach right over the top.
Let's actually correct our possession error. It's Utah State keeping possession in the half court here with 20 on a reset shot clock. Ashworth sends it in, and a block dunk for Utah State.
And one of the best things that the Aggies do is execute end line out of bounds, just like that.
Quick answer from San Diego State and Chad Baker-Mazzara, who returned to the floor on Monday after a DNP against Boise State. Max Shulga in for Ryan Odom and the Aggies.
Watch those cuts again. Justin Bean was wide open. Watch them just cut right through the lane. None of these Aggies stand around.
Oh, Steven Ashworth off the bounce.
What a start by Utah State. This is against one of the best defensive teams in America. You wouldn't know it. They're attacking, they're aggressive, and they're confident right now.
6 of 9 from the floor. They've buried 3 triples. Now a takeaway. Bean centers it up and drops it off. Max Shulga in transition for Utah State. Timeout, Brian Dutcher and San Diego State.
Let him hear you, Hurd. This has been beautiful basketball. Both ends of the floor. Utah State, they're trying to get off the schneid. They've lost 4 in a row. And Stephen Ashworth, the 6'1 sophomore, doing his part. He's 2 for 3 from deep. And then how about Justin Bean? That's your power forward, folks. Ripping the rebound, starting to break in transition. Max Shulga finishing it off. Couldn't ask for a better start for Ryan Odom's squad here.
In case you talked about the way that Bean is fearless on the board. Why does he remind you of one of your former teammates at Stanford, two-time NBA champion Mark Madsen?
Yeah, Mark was a senior my freshman year at Stanford in 2000, and he wasn't the tallest guy, right? He was about 6'7", just like Justin Bean, but he had a nose for the ball that just can't be taught. He would fly through the air. He'd knock me over. He'd knock you over, even if you're his teammate, just to get an extra possession. They're fiercely competitive. They have great touch around the rim as well, and they just play to win. So when I watch Justin Bean, I see a reincarnation of Mark Madsen, who, by the way, is a head coach at Utah Valley.
Right, some great work there. I do hope that Bean's a better dancer than Mad Dog. Can we safely assume that?
I haven't seen Justin Bean's move, but I'm still going to go with yes, he's a better dancer than Mad Dog.
Both teams shooting well. The Aggies have hit their last 3. The Aztecs 5 of their last 7. So a furious start here in the Cache Valley.
And Matt Bradley has not attempted a shot. Here he is on the block.
Pulliam put it up and again denied, this time Trevin Dorius.
Whoa.
Heat check. Missed it all. Ashworth's previous 3 brought rain. That one was similarly high arcing, but off the mark.
You know, Ashworth actually shoots better from 3 than he does from 2. It's very rare, even for a player of his size. He is hunting that line. I think Bradley's going to shoot here.
Has the Mensa screen to utilize. Gets it back from Seiko. 10 left on the timer as he attacks. He does get to that left-hand floater game.
Bradley is what I call a 4-level scorer. He can shoot the 3. He's got the mid-range that you showed right there. He's got the strong body so he can attack the rim. And the 4th level is the foul line. This guy knows how to use his body, put pressure on the referees.
Loose ball rebound will go back to Bradley and the Aztecs, much to the chagrin of Ashworth and Utah State. Both teams shooting better than 58% from the floor in the early going here in Logan. San Diego State's reputation on defense precedes the Aztecs here to Logan, Utah. So if they're number 2 in the nation in KenPom's defensive efficiency metric, Casey, how has Utah State gotten off to such a great start?
Ball movement and feeding off this awesome crowd. Their cuts are spectacular. They space the floor really well. And coming into the game, Utah State was just shooting 19% from 3. And they've already made 3 from deep. And again, it starts with Justin Bean and his versatility as a forward, but it doesn't end there. Stephen Ashworth came to play tonight. And we said that they are a better shooting team than they have shown. Ryan Odom, their head coach, said, hey, we are going to come out tonight and prove it. And they have so far. Still a lot of basketball left to be played.
All right, during our stoppage, a technical on the Utah State bench. So that'll give San Diego State a couple of free throws as we resume. Matt Bradley is going to take them after he just took his first field goal attempt and hit it on a left-handed runner. Bradley had to make some adjustments after just 10 points on 3 of 13 shooting against Boise State. He said that in film he saw Casey can play without the ball better and not be a ball stopper, and also use his strength to not just settle for hard shots. And that was apparent in his most recent outing. 27 points on 11 shots, and he had 1 miss against UNLV.
Yeah, that's the efficiency that you got to love, right, as a coach, Brian Dutcher. You score 27 on 11 shots, you're doing something right. It's like what Klay Thompson does when he's healthy for the Warriors. And in just 28 minutes of play, too. That was his 100th career game. This is Bradley right here with the ball. Really talented player.
Rising over Shulga. Picking up right where he left off the other night.
He loves that jab step as well. That step that just gets enough space to back the defender off.
So Casey, as well as Utah State has started, you just documented how they've gone about it. Only a 1-point lead in the basketball here at the 11-minute mark. A Long drive for Justin Bean. Comes up empty-handed. Bradley with the board. He'll bring it himself. No look pass to Johnson. Wow. Able to slip through in transition.
I don't know how he did that without either turning the ball over or traveling. That was kind of a weird pass. It was a shovel pass from Matt Bradley, but you got to be careful when you do that. You got to protect your big guys as they run the floor and don't put them in harm's way.
4 straight made field goals, 7 unanswered for the visitors to take the lead. And now a bump on the drive. It'll be the 5th team foul on San Diego State. Closer look at that ISO move you were talking about with Matt Bradley.
Yeah, he shoulders a lot of the burden offensively. I know they spread it around so far in the first few minutes of this game, but they're going to be going to Bradley and creating off of him. And this time he doesn't force it. He finds it in transition. That's Keyshawn Johnson, who's been playing really well lately.
And Horvath out of the corner. He knocked down a couple early shots back off the Utah State bench.
This is their big lineup. So Justin Bean has the ball. He's 6'7". They got Dorius and Horvath at 6'10" as well.
Oh, a fastball in the entry. Good catch and an even better finish for Trevin Dorius.
Second time we've seen that high-low action. These big guys for the Aggies are excellent shooters and passers.
Baker Mazzara comes up short. There's a stop for Utah State. Horvath back to Idle Rock. Pulled down on the weak side by Trey Pulliam. On the move, Baker Mazzara. No whistle.
Not sure why he tried to avoid contact, go right through it. He bailed out the officials there.
Horvath lost the handle, trying to save the possession. Aggies got the last one, so this should go over to San Diego State. Casey, you got to know your personnel and trust your big has hands to catch a pass with this velocity.
He threw it right to the hand, though, right? Those, you stick out that big catcher's mitt, bang, you get the ball right there. They got the mismatch that they wanted down low. This is a really impressive start for Utah State offensively. A couple of lineups that you don't normally see, and why is that? Because Rylan Jones, normally their starting point guard, the transfer from Utah, he's out with concussion protocol. Brock Miller, one of their best players, a senior, he hasn't played with a back injury in about a month.
Bradley will dribble to the center of the floor and reset the possession here. 6 left. The Shulga defending. Bradley gets all the way to the glass.
You got to have better gap coverage than that. I mean, it was basically on an island was Max Shulga with the best score on the floor for San Diego State.
Of course, the other change after that Boise State loss for Bradley is a fresh haircut. And it's sometimes a wonder what a new do can do for your game on the floor. Not sure about the haircut status of Max Shulga, but he's on target.
JB, I'm looking at it right now. It looks pretty tight. You know, it looks pretty tight. Both those guys a little more aerodynamic tonight, and it's paying off.
More recent than his headshot there that you saw as Utah State is back in front by 2.
Now that we're talking about it, I need to go get a cut. I'm feeling a little slow.
Butler on the pick and roll with Johnson. Good challenge there by Idle Rock. The trail drive from R.J. Idle Rock. And a scramble won by Keyshawn Johnson. Good pace to this one, right? Good energy.
Love this pace. Watching Mountain West Conference hoops this year has been so much fun. So many talented teams as Bradley. That's a good shot for him. He has the ultimate green light, no doubt. This conference is loaded with individual talent up and down the roster. David Roddy at Colorado State, so good. And how about Boise State? And what are they, 12 wins in a row,
13
JB?
now.
13. Leon Rice's team is loaded.
Shulga sets up a wing 3 for Horvath. Not Utah State started, has run cold here in the middle of the opening half. Butler lost the handle and was last to touch it.
And Matt Bradley, you got to help on him. Can't leave you guys on an island. He's going to make you pay. But Utah State has come to play. They've had an answer every time. Here's Shulga. We got a good one here.
Ryan Odom in his first season with Utah State, and his group off to a 1-5 start in Mountain West competition. So we asked him today, Casey, what his impressions are of a conference that has, what, 5 teams in the top 62 in the net. Utah State, despite their recent struggles, still 71st.
It's been really impressive. This is one of the best conferences in the country, and he also said it's loaded with individual stars and go-to guys. And here's the list right here. Roddy, EK, Matt Bradley, Orlando Robinson's the 7-footer from Fresno State, Justin Bean. But how about this guy? Yeah, his numbers aren't as big as the others, but Marcus Shaver Jr. is the most clutch. He's got game-winning three-pointers in each of their last 2 games against both of these teams that we're watching tonight, San Diego State and Utah State. Really impressive to have a clutch guy that you know you can get the ball to create a shot for himself and for others is a coach's dream.
Being only 2 points so far, 1 of 4 shooting. Matt Bradley, who you also highlighted, has 7 of the last 9 points for San Diego State.
You asked me about Justin Bean and how he reminds me of Mark Madsen. The other thing is like kind of the way they look like choir boys, and then they step in the lines of basketball and they turn into like caged animals. Incredible.
Speaking of Boise State, I mean, that was a cage match with the Aztecs, wasn't it? That low-scoring affair, the whiplash from 37 points scored in a loss to Boise State to then putting up a season-high 80 the other night. Ryan Dutcher and company against UNLV. Here's the second field goal for Justin Bean.
That Boise State-San Diego State game was just remarkable. San Diego State only had 26 points with 8 minutes to go. Boise State didn't score for a 10-minute stretch. You knew it was going to come down to the end.
Chet Baker-Mazzara with the hit.
He's been aggressive tonight, hasn't he? Sophomore. He averages 5 points, but he's looking like he feels like every play is run for him.
Had one of my favorite lines of any box score I've seen this season so far. On Monday, 2 points, 2 rebounds in 9 minutes, a technical for pointing at the scoreboard, and a flagrant. That's a night's work and a win. Being seen 2 defenders. Short clock here for Utah State. Good ball movement. Ashworth pays it off with a corner 3.
That is what they do. Good ball movement. Every coach preaches it. But this is a Utah State team that knows that they're going to have to win this game together. They can't just give the ball into the hands of Justin Bean and say, win it for us. Everybody's got to step forward.
Now on the defensive end, Stephen Ashworth giving Butler some problems. This is Joshua Tomajic with a travel. All 5 shots for Ashworth behind the 3-point line, Casey.
Yeah, that's what he does. And, you know, Ryan Odom said he has to be shot ready at all times, right? Especially against a San Diego State defense that is going to close out in a hurry.
Tell me more about shot ready and what that means for Ashworth.
You got to have your knees bent, your arms ready to accept the pass so that when you catch it, you don't have to waste time. Because time is what you don't have when you play against the Aztecs. And if you can shoot a half-second quicker, that could be the difference between an open shot and a contested one.
Casey still gets out of his car shot ready. I swear, if you threw him a basketball in the parking lot, he would have that exact look.
Yeah, there was no such thing as a bad pass for my teammates. Just throw it in the general vicinity. I don't care. It doesn't have to be in my shot pocket.
Horvath getting bogged down in the half court. Aztecs rip it out to the floor to take possession. They'll play on through that shot clock horn. Seiko's got a little 2-man game with Tomajic here. Idle Rock defending and taking the charge.
That's a scouting report charge right there by Idle Rock, 6'4" senior from London, England. And he knows that Tomajic doesn't want to turn to his left hand. He wants to go middle. And after a couple knocks on the door fell down.
6 foreign countries represented on this Utah State roster.
Yeah, Idle Rock, he also came with Coach Odom from UMBC. He was the leading scorer and leading assist guy for the Retrievers last year. He doesn't play that role, obviously. Justin Bean has that role, but he's settled in really nicely.
The starting lineup here tonight, along with Ashworth. Step back three. Bam! Stephen Ashworth is feeling it.
And whatever the scouting report was on Stephen Ashworth, you got to change it. You cannot go under ball screens or dribble handoffs with this young man right now from Lone Peak High School.
Knocked off his spot and a knockdown corner three for Adam Seiko.
They get a flop warning on that, on Utah State defensive player Adam Seiko. Offensively, he is a three-point shooter. In fact, there's the flop warning there. Nice extra pass. How about that? Passing up a good shot to Lamont Butler to get an even better one for his teammate Adam Seiko. But I was talking about Seiko. He's a senior. 76% of his total shots in his career, not just the season, in his career, are from three. That's what he wants to do.
Remember the longest streak of made threes in your career off the top of your head by any chance? 10's a pretty good number, right?
I would be embarrassed if I knew that number off the top of my head. There's no way. 10's an incredible number. Was it over the course of 2 games, Seiko?
A couple of games in December, yeah. Have we settled the flop warning? Is there anything more to it?
No. Let's play on. Let's go. Justin Bean was open right there. Ashworth didn't feed it to him.
Shulga using the shot fake. Look at him hunt from the corner. Not this time. Pulling with a nifty move. And his pass intercepted. And a foul. And a rope into the game for San Diego State.
Ashworth. Yeah, he's trying to help him up, but he's not going to take it. Ashworth doing his job, though. Hunt the three. See the three. Be the three. Aggies up 5.
February 6th, a storied venue that's seen everything, has never seen anything like this. NASCAR come to the Los Angeles Coliseum for the very first Busch Light Clash at the Coliseum. Sunday, February 6th, only on Fox. I've seen some of the developing pictures of that. It looks sensational. Meanwhile, here at Utah State, Stephen Ashworth has the Aggies off to the races from the three-point line.
Yeah, you thought Justin Bean was going to be the guy that would lead their attack offensively. You're wrong. It's Stephen Ashworth, the sophomore. He's going to have to play big minutes because Rylan Jones, normally their starting point guard, is out today with a concussion, and all 7 of Ashworth's shots tonight have been from three. He's already got 4, and this is a team that that really got off to a nice start shooting the ball. This is their non-conference three-point shooting numbers. Look at that, almost 40%. In conference, just been frigid. And JB, if you'd have told me that the one breakout game they would have shooting the ball would be against one of the best defensive teams in America, I wouldn't have believed you.
Guess who the best three-point percentage defense in the Mountain West is? No surprise, they're challengers tonight, San Diego State.
No one has scored 60 points in the last 7 games against San Diego State, and so far Utah State is well on their way to get that.
In fact, the high for any half this season scored against the Aztecs, 36. They're on 32 with these free throws from R.J. Idlerock. This front end, but an offensive board. Idlerock goes right back to work. Comes to a jump stop on the block. For the possession. Diabate with the board. That's his backup at the 5.
And he's getting minutes because Nate Mensah, one of the best shot blockers in the country, has 2 personal fouls. He's on the bench right now. Probably won't see him for the rest of the first half.
That was the first on Trevin Dorius, meanwhile. Lamont Butler probing off the bounce, then hits the gas and gets all the way home.
Like the patience there, the hesitation dribble. Matt Bradley was in the corner. He made a lift cut, but they are face guarding Bradley, so that had to be Lamont Butler's show.
Bean had it knocked away. 17 to shoot for Utah State.
You can't mess around with the ball. We saw Brandon Horvath turn the ball over, making too many dribbles, and right there, Justin Bean. You make 2 or 3 extra dribbles, it's like an alarm bell for this Aztec defense. They're going to swarm.
Ashworth off the bean screen. Idle Rock, spin to the baseline. Nowhere to go. Shot clock violation.
Shot clock violation.
Turnover number 6 for the home team.
Kind of a break right there. Because I thought Adam Seiko had the ball, had possession as the shot clock was going off. If they don't call that violation, the Aztecs had numbers. Watching the corner, they're guarding Matt Bradley. No help.
Pocket pass. What a good one, too. Lamont Butler gets it done for Tahiro Diabate.
Because they're face guarding Matt Bradley in the corner, the help side is going to have to come from somewhere else. Miscommunication there. Diabate dunks it through. I'd go back to that same play the next possession.
Dorius backing his man down. Left-handed jump hook goes begging. Fight for the board. I think possession and a timeout granted for Diabate.
One possession game here. Can't give up dunks to the Aztecs offensively. Screen and roll here. You are face guarding Matt Bradley in the corner. Normally you're going to help in the middle off of this roll. If you're not going to come off of Bradley as this play goes forward, there is no one to help. Dorius steps up. Where's the backside? Is it going to be from Ashworth all the way in the corner? That might be too much to ask of him, but that's creative play design. It's simple basketball, but it's creative play design by putting your best shooter and your best scorer on the strong side, on the weak side, and putting pressure on the defense.
7 unanswered for San Diego State, and kind of going to your NBA mentality, you would suggest they go right back to it until Utah State shows a solution.
No question, and that's something that Ryan Odom had and his coaching staff had to be addressing. Hey, how are we going to guard when they put Bradley in that corner? Who's going to be the tag guy? The tag is what you have to do when the guy rolls. You have to put a forearm. There it is right there. And now Bradley was open for a quick second, and they didn't hit him.
Well documented there, Casey. Here's Ashworth going the other way. With 12 points to lead Utah State. Bean rising off the elbow. 2 of 6 shooting start for Justin Bean. Butler lost his footing, and I think they caught Shulga with the hand check.
Not a big fan of that call, but you are awarding the offensive player for being aggressive. Lamont Butler here, that contact is created by the offensive player. That's why I'm not sure. I'm with Shulga right there. I'm not sure what he was supposed to do. I've been there many times before.
Utah State had a couple of fouls to give here with 91 seconds left in the opening half. First on Max Shulga defensively. If you're San Diego State, Casey, on the road here at altitude, 3rd game in 5 days, as well as Utah State has shot it. 48%, including 6 made threes. Got a chance to retake the lead here with Bradley. A near turnover, no reset, 10 to shoot. Seiko, who needs the 10 seconds, he lets it fly. Last 7 points still belong to San Diego State. A 3.5-minute scoring drought for Stephen Ashworth and the Aggies.
They haven't really isolated Justin Bean, number 34, on the block. He has spent a majority of this first half floating on the perimeter. He is good posting in the mid-range. He's got a nice pull-up game, but I feel like sometimes they can take advantage of him. If Adam Seiko is guarding him, put him on the block. Let him go one-on-one.
Use it or lose it timeout here for Utah State. They want to manage these final 56 seconds to their advantage going to the half.
One of the interesting things about San Diego State this year is you remember they lost Matt Mitchell. He's on the left. He was the leading scorer for the Aztecs last year, and they bring in another Matt, and they're similar in name and game. They're both big, powerful shooting guards. Matt Mitchell's a little bit taller than Matt Bradley, but it's kind of eerie how similar those stats are. I was wondering how Brian Dutcher was going to fill that void with Matt Bradley leaving. Thank goodness for the transfer portal. You look around and you find Matt Bradley, who was Cal's leading scorer the last 2 years, and you plug him right in.
The Aggies got 2 out of 3 last season in this series, but the Aztecs, of course, quick to point out they were without the Mountain West Player of the Year in those games, and Mitchell's now playing in France, I think you told me previously.
Yep, Matt Mitchell is playing in Strasbourg, France. It's the first division out there. I played 8 years in Europe, mostly in Germany. Played Strasbourg many a times.
See if Utah State can finish 2 for 1 here. Idle Rock to Shulga. From the logo. If that had gone, Ashworth would have blown the top off the spectrum.
That was not a great possession, though. Out of a timeout, and you get a 30-foot three. And Bradley wants that pose. This is an isolation here.
Shulga defending. Again, using that jab step, comes up short. Shot clock turned off. Utah State can take the last with a 32-31 lead.
Justin Bean has to get a touch. He's against Adam Seiko, number 2, who is one of San Diego State's best defensive players, but he's got a height and weight advantage.
Here comes Stephen Ashworth. Bean on the take. Ran into a wall and gives it back with fractions left. Lamont Butler in position.
Big time play by Butler, who was thinking exactly what I was thinking. Justin Bean is going to get a touch here. Watch, he is. Man, that was perfect. Well done. Easy call for the officials. Watch him slide over, and then he holds his position. Yep, that's an easy one. He's out of the charge circle as well.
At the half, Lamont Butler lets it fly, and despite Utah State's snapping out of its 3-point shooting funk, it's only a 1-point differential against San Diego State here in Logan.
Both teams with a nice offensive rhythm at times, though. Utah State 46% shooting against one of the best defensive teams in the country. They've got to be happy with it.
Not that we should be surprised, right? The Aggies, despite their record, they play everyone to single digits, which means we're in store for a great second half.